Semiotics is a very interesting area where I think there is anthropology, there's sociology, and there is psychology. Right? I
Yeah.
think it's a craft where you need to bring all of these three things together. Right? So, say for example, you study culture, you study the society, you study the behavior of people. Okay, and talk to me about how do you see these connections, and how do you really discover these observations. So it's a very very important mix of skills that you need to bring in. So can you talk to me about how do you really connect this, and give me some examples of how marketers or companies can uncover this for their products or brands.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so basically, if you look at culture as a as a construct, right? So culture is basically a shared sense of meaning.
Hmm.
So if you look at psychology, generally, psychology considers just one individual person and what's happening inside their mind.
Hmm.
So that's psychology. And generally, if you look at kind of, especially like the Western notion of psychology, they consider that all human beings on the planet have the same wiring of the brain.
Hmm.
Like everybody behaves the same, like everybody will think in the similar way. Maybe they differ by personality. Somebody is an introvert, somebody is an extrovert, but it's just what is there inside one person's mind, which replicates with across everybody's mind. That is like psychology. And then when you look at culture, so sociology and anthropology basically are subdisciplines which kind of study culture, and they don't actually study one person's mind as
Hmm.
psychology. So
Okay.
culture is basically saying that it's not that each one person is just independently has a certain thing in their mind, and it's also not correct to assume that the entire world has the same type of wiring.
Hmm.
Culture segregates the world into like groups of people. So for example, if I say Indian culture, then it will be that Indians, when you just look at Indians, there is something common, a way of thinking which is shared by all Indians.
Hmm.
If I say, like the culture of Bangalore, for example, as a city, so you say all Bangaloreans have one certain culture
Hmm.
which might be a little different from all India level.
Hmm.
And also have like a culture at a level of an organization,
Hmm.
like IIM Udaipur as a culture. So we are a very research oriented culture. So
Hmm.
like everybody talks a lot about research here, and whenever we think of anything, research is something that comes to our mind first.
Hmm.
So depending on how you define your social group, there'll be a certain shared sense of blueprint in the mind, the way people
Hmm.
interpret things, make sense of things. So when you're analyzing culture, you're actually analyzing it at that collective level
Hmm.
instead of analyzing it at an individual level.
Hmm.
That's why in semiotics as a method, what we do is outside in approach. So,
Hmm.
so a regular research, if you're doing like a qualitative research, you will go and take an interview of a person. You'll ask them about what do you think, what type of brands do you like, what do you think about this ad, tell me. So you take an interview which is inside out. You're
Hmm.
asking the consumer to tell you things. In semiotics, what we do is outside in.
Hmm.
So basically, it's that a person's mindset, he has been socialized growing up in a certain culture.
Hmm.
And while growing up in that culture, that individual has been exposed to so many things,
Hmm.
whether it is the type of family upbringing and the type of maybe movies that they have seen growing up, the type of ads they have seen, whatever magazines, all the media, and even now like YouTube and social media influencers, everything. So all this which surrounds the people of a particular culture, we actually decode the content itself.
Hmm. Hmm.
So you look at patterns and structures in those content, and then you arrive at the potential wiring or the blueprint that resides in a particular culture.
Okay.
And what I have seen in the industry is that usually companies, they tend to mix the two methods. So
Hmm.
semiotics is outside in, and like ethnography or depth interviews is more inside out.
Hmm.
So they do what we call as ethnosemiotics, where
Mm.
you do both, and usually it's what we call as triangulation,
Mm-hmm.
where you use two methods and both methods end up giving you the same results.
Okay.
So that actually increases the confidence that you have on your analysis. So
Okay. Okay.
usually that works well.